Hello everybody and welcome to WEBfactory 2010 tutorials. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to configure the SNMP connector inside WEBfactory Studio. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is create the actual connector. For this I'm going to right click the server, select new connector and SNMP connector. Well, as you can see, this is the connector configuration panel. In this panel we're going to add hosts and devices inside the hosts. So let's add our first host. Click on the new. Make sure you complete the address. The host address is usually an IP or a computer name. For this example I'm gonna use a simple IP address, just like this. The port is 161, which is the default port for SNMP hosts. So everything is basically set up regarding our host. The next step is selecting the host inside the connector configuration tree view, which is right over here, and create a new device. We're going to name the device Device1 for starters, and we're going to make sure that the device has an OID, which is a unique identification number. The OID has the same format as an IP number, so I'm going to again type 1.1.1 and .1. Let's create another device. As you can see, we have two different OID numbers. The important part about these OIDs is that the OID number has to be unique inside one host. For example, if we have another host, and inside that host we create another device, we can use the same OID as the devices in our other host. So basically, as you can see here, the device 1 has the same OID with the device 3, but they are in different hosts. In case we use the same ID inside the same hosts like this, and we try to assign the same OID, we're gonna get an error warning here. If we hover over this exclamation sign, you're gonna see the context of our error, which is duplicate OID. So it's pretty straightforward. We have to have unique OIDs inside our hosts. The SNMP connector configuration in WEBfactory Studio allows us to import and export configurations. So let's try to export our current configuration and then import it just to see how it works. I'm gonna export it on the desktop. And as you can see, everything went well. And I'm gonna delete everything I have and save. Now I'm gonna import the configuration we have just exported and see what happens. So the Studio asks us to press yes if we want to override the existing configuration, or press no if we want to add just the missing items. Well, in this case I want to override everything, so I'm going to press yes. And just like before, we have the same configuration. One of the best parts of WEBfactory Studio is the filtering system. In our connector configuration, the filtering resides down below the SNMP connector tree view. So our filtering system works like this. You can filter after the column and using a value of the column. Basically, we can select any column we have in the connector configuration view and use any value inside of that column. Let's say we want to filter the devices so that we can see only the device 1 inside our view. We're going to type the device 1 value under the column name and click filter. As you can see, only the device 1 is visible in our view. Our SNMP connector is configured right now, but we still don't have any signals inside. So let's try to create a group and add some signals to our connector. I'm going to right click in the main view to create a new group, and I'm going to name it group 1. I'm going to put a space between group and 1. So now we have our first group and we're going to populate it with signals right now. Right click on the SNMP connector and select Browse Connector. In our Browse Data Provider window, we can see our host we defined earlier and the devices we have inside our host. Besides our devices, we can see a diag device, which is a diagnosed device existing by default inside our host. Let's select everything, assign them to the group we have just created, and click on the Add button. Now, as you can see, we have the signals inside our connector. This is all for now. We'll meet next time when I'm going to show you more great features of WEBfactory Studio.